unlock your world one word at a time, because language isn't just about learning, it's about living. Let's get started. Wonderful listeners, welcome back to the Languages Pedagogy Podcast, where we delve deep into the complexities, triumphs, and challenges of language education in our ever-evolving world. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is not only controversial but deeply personal for many educators out there: visa policies and work restrictions for non-native teachers. An unequal playing field. Language teaching is one of the most globalized professions in the world. You'll find English teachers in remote corners of the globe, Spanish teachers in bustling Asian metropolis, and Mandarin tutors in suburban Europe. But behind the inspiring image of language teachers bridging cultures lies an uncomfortable reality. Not every teacher is given the same opportunities. In this episode, we're going to unravel a deeply rooted issue: how immigration policies and visa restrictions systematically discriminate against highly qualified non-native teachers, limiting their opportunities, their careers, and their dreams. For the next several minutes, we'll explore the following: the historical roots of immigration policies affecting language teachers, how these policies perpetuate the native speaker bias we've discussed in earlier episodes, real-life stories from non-native teachers who've faced systemic barriers in visa applications, hiring processes, and work environments, the economic, social, and cultural cost of restricting non-native teachers from global classrooms, the psychological toll these barriers take on passionate educators who just want to make a difference, and most importantly, solutions and strategies, what schools, governments, and individuals can do to dismantle these barriers and create a more inclusive, fair, and dynamic global teaching workforce. This episode isn't just about identifying the problem. It's about offering hope, clarity, and a call to action. Whether you're an educator, a policymaker, a student, or someone who believes in equity, this episode is for you. So, let's get comfortable here. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's have a long, deep, and honest conversation.
Audio Jungle.
And let's begin at the beginning. Why do visa policies discriminate against non-native teachers? This issue isn't new. In fact, it's deeply intertwined with the colonial roots of language teaching. Historically, colonial powers didn't just impose their languages on the regions they colonized. They also established systems where native speakers of the colonial language were seen as inherently superior educators. Fast forward to today, and those powers dynamics have trickled into immigration and work visa policies as well. Countries like South Korea, Japan, and parts of the Middle East have strict requirements stating that only citizens from certain native-speaking countries can apply for English teaching visas. These countries are usually the US, Canada, the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and sometimes, and this is pretty funny, and sometimes South Africa. But here's the problem with the model. Being born in an English-speaking country doesn't automatically make someone a good teacher. And conversely, being born in a non-English speaking country doesn't make someone a bad teacher. Let me share a story with you. Meet Sofia from Argentina. Well, Sofia holds a master's degree in applied linguistics, has a CELTA teaching certificate, and speaks English fluently with a near native accent. She applied to teaching English in Japan, but was rejected. Not because she wasn't qualified, but because her passport wasn't from one of those 7 approved countries. Quotation mark, approved. Now imagine the frustration, the heartbreak, and the injustice of being denied not because of your skills, passion, or dedication, but because of this little piece of paper that says where you were born. Sofia's story isn't unique. Across the globe, thousands of highly skilled non-native teachers are being held back by visa policies that prioritize nationality over qualifications. But why do these policies persist? One reason is market demand. Parents and students in certain countries have been conditioned to believe that a teacher with a British or American accent is inherently better. Let's keep that in mind. Schools, eager to cater to these expectations, lobby governments to maintain visa restrictions that favor native speakers. Another reason is administrative simplicity. Immigration departments often use native speakers' criteria as a shortcut. It's easier to issue a blanket rule than to evaluate each candidate's qualification individually. But these shortcuts come at a cost, both economic and cultural. Let's talk about the economic impact. By restricting visas to only native speakers, schools are shutting out a vast pool of talented educators. This creates teachers' shortages in regions where demand is high. Non-native teachers often bring unique strength to the classroom. They know what it's like to learn a language from scratch. They understand the struggles of their students, and they often have stronger pedagogical training than native speakers who lack formal teaching credentials. The cultural cost is equally significant. Language classrooms aren't just spaces for grammar drills, they're also spaces for cultural exchange and connection. When students are exposed to teachers from diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds, they learn not just about the target language, but about the world. But beyond the macro level consequences, there's the human cost as well. Teachers like Sofia aren't just denied jobs. They're denied dreams. They're denied the chance to share their passion, to make a difference in students' lives, and to build careers they've worked so hard for. And this has a psychological toll. Many non-native teachers internalize these rejections as reflections of their self-worth. They begin to question their abilities, their fluency, and their value as educators. A teacher I spoke to, Hamad, a friend of mine from Egypt, shared how he was rejected from multiple positions in Southeast Asia, despite holding a PhD in English language education. He described feeling like an imposter in his own field, despite being one of the most qualified teachers in his department. So, where do we go from here? First, we need systemic change at the policy level. Governments need to revise visa policies to prioritize qualifications, teaching experience, and passion over nationality. This isn't just about fairness, it's about building stronger, more effective education systems. Second, schools need to take responsibility. Schools must push back against outdated policies and advocate for diverse hiring practices. Third, learners and parents need to challenge their biases. A good teacher isn't defined by their passport. Learners should focus on how effectively their teacher can guide them, not whether their accent matches what they hear in Hollywood movies. And finally, non-native teachers must continue to advance for themselves. Share your stories. Speak out against discrimination. Build networks of support, just like the one that are around in LinkedIn or even in this platform X. Let's join. Let's keep the talk here going. As we near the end of today's episode, I want to remind every teacher listening, your voice matters. Your experience matters. Your passion matters. The world of language education is changing. Slowly, but surely more institutions are recognizing the value of non-native teachers. More learners are realizing that fluency doesn't mean perfection, and a good teacher is defined by their dedication, not their birthplace. And hold on a second, before we're heading to the final part of this episode, I just want to remind you that new episodes drop every Monday and Friday. So make sure to tune in weekly for your dose of thought-provoking conversations. You can find our show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And you can also pay a visit to our website, MikeEnglishOnline.com, where you will find tons of resources for your daily learning or teaching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more. And thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this episode has opened your eyes to the hidden barriers many teachers face, and perhaps even inspire you to be part of the change. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember, language education should be a bridge, not a border.